Hi there, everyone. Welcome to another morning of Coffee with Crystal. Thank you for joining me. And it doesn't matter if it's the morning when you're watching this, the afternoon, or good night, or the night with your cup of joe. By the way, am I the only person who can drink a cup of coffee at night and it does not bother them? I can drink a cup of coffee at any time. And it's a problem because Starbucks white chocolate mochas at night probably are not good for me. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, welcome here. Today I want to talk to you about what it looks like to have rhythms and routines that actually bring real joy in your life. I am here going live actually Monday morning with my Inner Circle membership. And if you are interested in joining me live every Monday morning for a live, check it out. You can go to crystalevanshurst.com/inner circle. I also take these lives that before this portion of our content, we have a little fun and foolery, and I share the non-fun and foolery part on Sunday evenings on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're not following me on Facebook or subscribe to my YouTube channel, you want to do that right now. So we do fun and foolery in the membership, some background stuff, some Inner Circle stuff, and then we bring the buttoned up stuff to you every week. So I'm glad that you're here, and I hope that this little chat is a practical help to you. Today I want to talk about your rhythms. Y'all, I'm a big believer that rhythms in our life can make or break our life, in the sense that it can be harder than it has to be, or easier, a lot easier, because we do things on automatic. And of course, we know that we should have good rhythms with the time we get up and the time we go to bed. We should have good rhythms and routines and habits with working out, with what we eat. We should have rhythms and routines if we want to set goals and reach them. Anything from finishing degrees and our study habits to reading books just for pleasure. But I want to talk to you about what we do on automatic that actually can bring body and fulfillment and joy and memories to our lives. One of the things that my mother taught me was the importance of traditions and memories with your family. The things that we do often and ongoingly, regularly, that people remember. And really, when I say family, I mean family and friends, anyone that has value and importance to you. It's what we do regularly and consistently that sticks. Now, of course, you can have major things that happen in your life, and because there's a spike in your emotional involvement, you remember one-off things that were major, right? You remember that 12th birthday party because it was a big deal, or you remember your high school prom, or you remember the day you graduated from college, because those were emotionally charged, high excitement moments, and the emotions that you experienced on that day, good or bad, because you also remember that breakup with that boyfriend that was so painful. That emotional charge sears the memory of that experience in your brain and in your body, in your head and in your heart. But often it's things in our lives that are important that are not emotionally charged. It's just that because we do them often, it's the repetition that sears them in our heads and in our hearts. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I'll tell you a little bit about something I did recently that we have done regularly for all of my life as I was a child growing up with my parents, and that I've done regularly with my children even as they've grown up. So one of the things I did regularly with my dad and my mom was go to the Texas State Fair. Now, we in Texas do things big, and unfortunately, the Texas State Fair is one of those things. Not only is it big in excitement and enjoyment, but it's also big in price. It's ridiculously expensive. And this year, these dummies went up on the price, like majorly. The price to get in went up, but also the price per ticket doubled. So the ride last year that we could ride for $4 was now $8. The turkey leg that we could get last year for $15 was now $30. I don't even know if a turkey leg was ever $15. It may have been more like $20. But the point is, the price doubled. And guess what? We, like dummies, went there again. Now, it's a little bit helpful because my kids are getting older, and honestly, they don't really want to ride a million rides anymore. They just want to eat. That's basically what I want to do, is just eat. But anyway, we're going to stick a pin in that and come back to that point later. So here I am with my dad in this shot and my oldest daughter. I went with my kids, met up with my oldest daughter, her husband and their kids, asked my father to join us. He was coming in from out of town. So he swung by and paid money to park close. And we met up, of course, in the food court to have a great time. So this is me with them smiling because we really did, we're excited to be together. Also, I was there with my choice of foods, and every year I decide to try something new. Now, I eat the same thing every year. I want pizza from the one pizza stand. I walked up to them and said, where can I find your pizza? Because I love pizza. And they said, nowhere. We just work in the fair. Because apparently anybody that has a booth in the fair, if you work in the fair, you don't really have to work the rest of the year. If you park cars at the fair, you really don't. It's a whole thing. Who knew? You could basically make a whole living off of 3 weeks or so at the state Texas Fair. But of course, we do things big in Texas, and we also do things fried. So this is a fried Oreo because I love Oreos, so why wouldn't I try a fried one? It was actually pretty good. But the point is here that I have a rhythm and a habit of I get a pizza, I get a ice cold root beer from the ice cold root beer stand, and I usually get fried onion rings, and then I try one thing new. Everything else is just taking a bite or two of what everybody else has. You share the corn, you share the fries, you share the turkey leg because there's so much food. And that's a part of the rhythm too. It's amazing to me that I will go to the fair to eat something that I could have for $6 from Little Caesars. Pizza. But I do. I'll go there. Oh, and then a chocolate covered nut bar that I could get in the freezer section of the grocery store. But it's not about the food as much as it's about the habit, the rhythm, the thing that I do every year. Try the foods that I always try, and then try one more thing for the win. And by the way, the fried Oreo was pretty much amazing. Might even want to try that at home. Or maybe not. Maybe I just need to leave that alone at home. So getting to go with my family, with my children, with my husband, with my sister, a couple of years we've done that with our children together. And then with my grandchildren is kind of fun. So here is my oldest grandchild. Can I even believe every time I say that, I just need to take a sip of something. Today that's tea, hot tea. But anyway, Ellie's 5. And her lips are red because she had a Kool-Aid soaked pickle. I didn't even know that was a thing. And now, guess what? I bet she's going to want to do every year. She's going to want to go back to that one stand and say, I want a Kool-Aid soaked pickle, because we ain't doing that at home. Her mother's not doing that at home. That's not a normal part of our routine, just like fried Oreos are not and should not be a part of my routine. But she did it this year at 5, and I can guarantee you every year, because she loved it, she's going to want to come back and do that again. The fair is not just something that's rhythm and repeat for me, rinse and repeat, and rhythm and routine for me. It's for my family as well. When my son came home for his fall break, and of course, yay, we went to the fair, my grandchildren ran up to meet him. And then, like a pack of wolves, we just made our way through the fair for the rest of the afternoon. It was a lot harder to make our way through the fair as a big group with the fair being packed. But you know what? We did it because it's something we often do together. And my hope for my children, honestly, as they continue to grow and develop, this is my Fab Five right here, is that they look back on things and maybe they remember some of them easily, and maybe pictures or videos, home videos, help them to remember, is that we did things together and that they have a shared bank of memories to draw from that will help inform the habits and rhythms that they do as adults with their families, with their friends, but ultimately that tie them together with our family history. Now, the fair is one idea of a rhythm and routine, a habit, something we do together. We also pray together. We also have studied the Bible together. I've done school with my children, and some of the best rhythmic experiences have been that the kids have all read the same book. So when an older child sees a younger child reading the same book, they have a conversation about this book that they remember reading or that I read to them. There are all kinds of ways to have things that you do over and over again. Trust me, I know. I have taught algebra now 5 times, and that doesn't even include the time I learned it. If you do that, it's 6. I have taught history, world history, American history, biology, chemistry, anatomy. I stopped at physics though. I've done all of these things multiple times, and that has allowed me the ability to learn these things at a deeper level. It's not as hard every year because I use the same books, or at least I tried to, the same curriculum. And so when I got to that problem that stumped me the last time, I remember how to do it. The things that we do on repeat sear themselves in our memory. They become a part of the fabric of what our brain holds on to, a part of the fabric of our lives, a part of the fabric of either what makes us feel good because it gives us warm memories, memories or what helps us to live better because we have knowledge. One of the things I try to tell my children always is God gave you a parent so that a parent who has already learned this lesson can teach you. Now, you can learn this lesson by having to go round and round and round and rinse and repeat and have rhythm and routine until you learn the lesson, or you can just believe what your mama said. You can just believe what your mama said. I'm trying to get them to just believe what their mama said because I've already been round and round that bush and can teach you something. And so here's what I want to tell you. What you choose to rinse and repeat in your life, what you choose to be rhythmic and routine about, that is the stuff that, yes, you will remember. Yes, that can bring you joy. Yes, that can bring you fun, but it also can save you from a lot of trouble, from deciding to put rhythms and routines in your life that are good for you. And initially, it's a mountain to climb up, especially if it's something you don't want to do. But if you will put your mind to doing the thing that you know you need to do over and over again, the rhythms and routines have benefits. If you decide that, man, I really don't feel like I'm a Bible reader, but you decide, I know that it's good. So every day I'm going to read something. I'm going to spend 5 minutes or 15 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever. And I'm going to spend some time in the Word, spend some time in prayer. Maybe you say, I'm not really a prayer person, but I'm going to sit in my car before I get out of my job and I'm going to talk to God about the top 3 things that are on my mind and have gratitude because I want to develop that habit. What I can tell you is people that are prayer warriors had to start somewhere, and you do too. The same thing that applies to our spiritual life applies to our physical life. You want to change the way you eat? If you make a ton of changes tomorrow, you probably won't be able to keep that up. But if you make small changes tomorrow and then little by little build on that. One of the reasons why I've done the Fat Demon Challenge outside and inside of the membership multiple times is because while it's not rocket science, y'all, you realize that most of the things we need to do to lose weight are not rocket science. It's just that we need the encouragement and the accountability to do what we know we're supposed to do. But most people who've made major changes in their diet will tell you they did that by making small changes slowly. And then over time, those changes build upon other changes. And the change you see in your body is worth the small and the slow start. The same thing is true of your habits with reading or study. Maybe you're not a great student, but you decided to take a class on studying or speeding up your reading, or maybe you've watched YouTube videos on how to study better or how to take notes. And little by little, the stuff that you wish you'd had or that you wish you'd been taught, you teach yourself. One of the girls on the team said to me one day as we were hooking up cameras and mics and, I was showing them how to hook all the things up. You should see all the wires that are surrounding me. She said, how did you learn all that? Rinse and repeat. Trial and error, figuring out the hard way, and then getting into a rhythm and routine of how I set up every day. Sometimes when I go live every Monday, I go live earlier because everything is set up just the way it was set up last time. And I bring my computer in this recording room, I plug one thing in and I turn it on and I go. But I can tell you that if I took my camera off to take pictures of myself or one of my kids, or I unhooked things because I was testing some things out, when I go live on Monday morning and I come in and plug everything up, I will notoriously forget to turn something on or plug something in the wrong space. And what I've done is take myself off my rhythm. I've taken myself out of my rinse and repeat. I have created a little bit higher of a mountain to climb by giving myself more to think about and more to do. So it's not as easy to plug and play. Now, I realize that life is not always plug and play. Things happen. You get sick. You move. You change jobs. You have a disruption in your family rhythm because a kid goes to college or someone comes back home to live, or you go into a season of giving care for a relative, a mother-in-law, or for another family member. I realize that there are seasons where you're off your rhythm because you're not well, or because, things have changed in your life and you're just playing catch up. But what I can tell you is that if you will focus on the things that you can build that are rhythmic in your life, not only will it make life easier because there's less for you to think about, but it gives you room for more joy. When we go into the fair, I don't spend a whole lot of time in line with the foolishness because I know exactly what I'm going to eat. And apart from the one thing that I want to try, we spend our time not standing in line to try a bunch of new things. We spend our time having a good time, riding the rides, walking around, and yes, trying the one thing that everyone wants to try. We actually have more bandwidth in our lives for being committed to the things that are rinse and repeat. And what I want to tell you is that when you have habits in your life that help you to win in areas that you know you don't need to change, that you know you want to have consistency in, that you know that you want to develop and grow in, when you decide to focus on building rhythm and routine there, it actually creates space for other things that you want to do, for other joys that you want to have, for other excitement, because now you have room. It doesn't take as much brain power to do the hard stuff, so you have room for the fun stuff. It doesn't take as much energy to do the stuff you know you're going to do, to make so that you have room to do the stuff that you want to do. I want to encourage you, for the things that you know you need to do that take a lot of energy, what can you do to bring rhythm to your life? For the things that you want to do that are fun in your life, what are the rhythms and routines that you're going to have? The traditions is what we would use to describe memory making. What are the traditions that you're going to say, this is what we do? This is what I do as a person. This is what I do as a family. This is what we do as a family. This is what we're going to do with my friends. I have a group of friends that every year around Christmas time, we meet somewhere. One of our girlfriends organizes it. We've been friends for a long time, and we always choose somewhere to meet up, and one girl will send out the date and we go. Now, we talk all year long. We use Voxer and text messaging. We've got a group in our Instagram DMs for us to send each other all the foolishness. But one time a year when we're all in town, we get together and say hello in person. And you want to know what that's created? A tradition and a memory. And we don't really have to think too hard about it because we put it on the calendar, and we know we're going to put it on the calendar every year. What do you want to remember? Make it a tradition. It doesn't have to be deep. It doesn't have to be expensive. Where do you want to be intentional about putting the joy on repeat in your life with people that you love or experiences that you love? You know, we went to a camp growing up. That's 2 hours from here, from my home. And we went every year with our family. And now guess what? We take our children every year. Why? It's a great place of memory and tradition for us. And it now has become for our children. And y'all, it's great. I'm not saying it's not great, but it's not Disney World. And the kids often would rather go there than Disney World because they are tied to the memory. They are tied to the tradition. And they can't imagine a year not going to this camp in East Texas. And I know a lot of people that have created memories from vacations or places that they go, and the families or the parents are like, we're going to go here again. Let's do something different. And the kids are like, no, because they're connected to the memory. I want you to have traditions in your life so that you have memories that are embedded deeply in your mind and in your heart and in the lives of those you love. I also want you to remember to do the things that really matter to you. What do you want to accomplish? And what have you been struggling to do because you've been struggling with the rinse and repeat, the rhythm and the routine of what you need to do in your life to get there? Whether it's food or whether it's function, whether it's studying for passing an exam so that you can get through with that degree, whether it's decluttering on a regular basis so you don't have the piles that get so high, or maybe it's making room in your life to go for a walk, to get outside, to get some fresh air. What is the thing that you want to do in your life that you don't want to have to work hard to do, and right now it's hard? Break it off into pieces, small pieces, and do one thing at a time, little by little, so that you are able to accomplish much. It doesn't matter if we're talking about tradition and memories, because that's really what you get to hang the pillars of your life on as your life draws to a close. What do you remember? And also, what do you want to accomplish? Because some of those big things you just need to divide into smaller pieces. Rinse and repeat, rhythm and routine. Break whatever you're trying to do into small pieces and do it consistently. Focus on one habit, one piece of that new thing at a time. You want to have a memory that you can make of your family coming to your home for the holidays and eating a good meal? I do. Am I making the whole meal like my mother used to make it, all the dishes, all the things for, days and days straight cooking? I'm not there yet. But have I year by year been adding one thing that I'm going to work on, and knowing that the other 2 or 3 things that I've cooked myself are easier because I've done them now year after year? I am. Every year, I'm adding one dish, and I know what the dish is this year that I'll be trying. But I don't put all the pressure on myself to cook all the things. I don't even know that I ever will. But I am trying to do more of my own cooking and adding to that of some wonderful places, some dishes that my family loves. But what I'm learning to do, I'm not trying to do like a 9-course situation all in one year. It's 1 year at a time. And year by year, my family says, hey, are you going to make that chess pie again this year? Are you going to order in those yams this year? Or are you going to make yours? Yours were better. Year by year, we're adding to what mom does. This is how we've built the traditions that we have for the holidays. This is what we've done with our traditions on a day-by-day basis, what we do at the breakfast table. This is what we've done by going to the fair. And the rhythm and routine, the muscle that I've learned to develop in that area of my life with my family traditions and memories is the same muscle that I have to use little by little to develop the rhythms and routines that I need in my own life. And I don't think we will ever be not needing or not desirous of developing rhythms and routines. You want to know why? Because life is hard, and it is wonderful to figure out little hacks to make life a little easier. So I want you to work on you, but I want you to do that in bite-sized pieces. I want you to build memory, and I want you to do that in bite-sized pieces too. And I want you to decide, after listening to this episode, what do you want to build as a tradition or a memory in your life? What do you want to do in your life? What do you want to achieve? Where do you want to go? And what habits and routines do you need to develop in your life bit by bit, piece by piece in order to get there? You being the person that you want to be is not because you magically wake up one day and have wonderful memories and experiences or have achieved wonderful things. It's because you decide every day to be the person who is building your life. You are the architect of your life. But the good news is so much of what you decide to build in your life is not by sheer muscle. It is by the decision to build it slowly, brick by brick. And you can build by brick by building your memories, building your habits, and building your routines. And watch the building of your life unfold. So my challenge to you today is to think, what do I want my family and friends to remember? And am I doing that? And the next question, what do I want to see accomplished in my life? And am I building that? And if you're not, for either one of those or both, pick one small thing that you can do today and focus on that one thing. And then after you've got that down pat, add another. This is life. Rinse and repeat and see your life grow. All right, y'all. Hope you've enjoyed this. And if you have, I would love for you again to follow me on Facebook or subscribe to my YouTube channel. But more importantly, if this has been a benefit to you, share it. Be sure and share it with a friend. And then challenge your friend. Challenge each other. What are you going to do, sis? What are you going to do, friend, to build your life? Because one of the best ways for you to build your life is to have the challenge of accountability from someone that you love and someone that loves you. All right, y'all, have a great week. And don't forget, we really are better together. Take care.